The Radium Dial Girls, a forgotten story. Catherine Donahue, a loving mother and a wife, went to seek work when her husband was not making enough money to support the family. She went and worked for a company in the area that was hiring mainly women called the Radium Dial Company. She was painting watch faces for 8 cents a day and could paint over 100 watches. Radium was told to have benefits unlike anything seen before. It helped with illnesses and diseases and helped relieve pain. She used this radium paint to paint the watch faces so that they would glow in the dark. They used a very specific method called the lick and dip method. So they would twirl the paintbrush in their mouth into a very fine tip and dip it in the radium paint. This radium made them glow from the inside out. Slowly, Catherine Donahue and her friends at work started to get sick and started to feel weak, and they weren't sure why. So they went to the doctor at the Radium Dial Company, and the doctor said, take some aspirin, it should be okay. So she went on her way, not wanting to lose her job. She continued to work every day, having fun with her friends and continuing to deteriorate in her health. Her knees started to ache, her mouth started to ache. She glowed from the inside out, and she continued to work because she needed the money. And one day she was called into the office and was let go because she could no longer keep up with what she was supposed to. And slowly, one by one, her coworkers and friends were also let go. It's crazy to think that a company who is constantly having sick workers fired because they cannot keep up, and there was no correlation found, and there was no accusations being made up to this point. So after finding that they were not getting better, they traveled to Philadelphia from Ottawa, Illinois, to visit a doctor. This doctor examined each one of them carefully and let them know that they had been poisoned by radium. Catherine Donahue was astonished and in disbelief. This was the first doctor after 9 years at the Radium Dial Company who would admit to her that she had been poisoned by the thing that she had been working with every day. And again, this company had not suffered any repercussions from this. Catherine Donahue is not a well-known name, and she decided to go home and live out the rest of her life because she was told by this doctor that her illness was terminal and there was no way for her to get better. She had contracted cancer in her leg through the radium poisoning. So Catherine decided to play a game of poker with her friends when they were home, and one of her friends suggested that they stand up and fight and take action against this. Catherine, not really sure what to do, looked at her friend, and her friend said, whoever wins this poker game gets to decide what we do next. Now, it was a very close game, but Catherine came out victorious, and she decided that it was time to stand up and fight. So, the very next day, her friends and her decided to go seek help from a lawyer. This court case became the talk of the town. Her dirty laundry was aired everywhere, and she was constantly being berated in public by those who thought that she was doing the wrong thing. How could she attack a public company, a big part of the community that everyone knew and loved? How could she attack them? It was unheard of. So Catherine went home and she decided to not think about it and to continue down this path. When the court case came around and the day of the trial happened, the Philadelphia doctor got called onto the stand and was asked what she had been getting sick by. And the doctor looked at her and at first said he didn't want to talk about it in front of the witness or the patient. But Catherine, already knowing what her diagnosis was, said that it was okay to continue. and the doctor told the courtroom that she had been poisoned by radium and her condition was terminal and that she would not live past the next 6 months. Catherine won her court case and was awarded over $2,000. That's what her life was worth to these people, over $2,000. A week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I didn't know who Catherine was. I had never heard of the Radium Dial Company. I had never heard of these girls, these thousands of girls getting sick and dying. And I'm not sure why, but as soon as I found out, I wanted to learn as much as I could and to see whatever I could. Why are we not talking about her? Why are we not talking about this? Catherine Donahue is the reason that the Occupational Safety and Health Administration exists. She's the reason that we have these health insurances through our workplaces. She's the reason why we have workplace safety and we have repercussions for those who get hurt on the job. I think that everyone should go research who Catherine Donahue was and learn all that they can, because she was not the only one. But she was the one that stood up and fought when no one else would. I want you all to remember this and to think about what she did and what more we don't know about her. I think that we all could learn a little bit about standing up and fighting against the people that we don't think that we can win against. Catherine Donahue is a name to remember. Catherine Donahue is a name that should have been talked about. How come I had never learned of her? How come I had never known about her? How come it took me 14 years of schooling to figure out who this girl was and what she gave? Her life was only worth $2,000. But because of that, we are now able to work in a place that is much safer. The Radium Dial Company did eventually get shut down, and they got sued, and they tried to appeal the case about 6 times, but every time they lost their case. It's thanks to Catherine Donahue that we can go to work every day and feel safe again. I urge everyone to go and do their research and to always search down the rabbit hole and to always find out the information that we want to about these new pieces of history that we didn't previously know about. I want everyone to never stop learning, because if I had never learned about Catherine Donahue, I would have never known where all of these precautions came from. Thank you for coming to my presentation. I hope you all enjoyed it.